And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a show about shows. All right, I'll brave it. Episode number 42.
Do
Honey,
it.
Have a sniff on me.
Woo!
You know that's a Dutch title. We're here.
It's an old cocaine song.
Maybe, sadly, for the last time for a while in the Dizzle Studios. We're Floridians, in case you can't tell about the cool outfits. Well, actually, let's first do introductions. JPO here, Jordan Pierce Owens.
I was grooving on the intro, brother. Yeah, but anyway, I'm Dutch McAllister.
Dizzle the Aviator here. Let's find it, baby. Right there, man. So we're Floridians, and we got the news today. We're filming on a Wednesday that starting tomorrow at midnight, mandatory. Stay at home. Don't go out.
Shutter in place.
It specifically said don't podcast about movies. Did you see that part?
No, I think that's essential. They said that's one of the essential
Oh,
jobs.
we're one of the essentials? I mean, we are giving entertainment during this hard time on us.
I think our ratings went up
so.
just a few more ticks lately.
I say we're about a good 9 feet away from each other. You guys might be 5, so watch out.
Yeah, that's all right. I checked his temperature anally earlier.
I
He was okay.
anally, didn't you?
Yeah, he's fine. He's fine.
Anal temperatures. That's the new name of the show tonight. And but we got a fun show for you. And we will figure out a way. This obviously the news dropped today, so we will try to figure out a way to keep this thing going. Maybe Zoom. We talked about
Or Skyping
it. We might do it.
You never know.
Via Halo. We'll shoot each other and film it. No, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure out a way. Today, though, we do have several reviews for you.
Several, because we keep watching.
Nothing else to do, guys.
We got to keep doing it.
We're home. We've been watching, catching a lot of TV shows, movies, wrestling, editing stuff.
Let me tell you this right now. I know we're going to get into the show and all. And what I've noticed though is the reports came out. TV ratings are up across the board.
Makes sense.
People are actually watching standard television like everyone used to back in the days. Even the same night delay, they still watch it. Everything's going up because people are, they can't go anywhere.
NBC's like, we need more plagues.
Yeah, NBC's the one that's losing the ratings sometimes, but it's, no, they won, I think, one night, but I think it's kind of fun.
Poor Peacock.
Yeah, it's, ABC did well with The Good Doctor's last finale show. A lot of shows like, I think, was it Hawaii Five-0, their ratings are up. Blue Bloods, people are, like I said, you're stuck inside. What are you going to do? You can only watch so much streaming after a while that you say, what's on the regular world? And then I get really disappointed because there's commercials. So that's
why you do what I do is like Xfinity on demand. You watch about an hour later, boop, boop, right through commercials, baby.
Yeah, you have CBS Access, you got Hulu, you got things like that you can work around.
I'll be talking about CBS All Access later.
You know what? I just got access to it, so I cannot wait to watch Picard. If you've seen it before me.
Did you do the month like me?
No, I don't know.
I'm
using one of our writers, Renetta. She was kind enough to share
CBS All
access. So,
did you hear that Dutch is bootlegging your service?
I am not. I'm part of the family.
You're bootlegging.
I'm part of the essential family.
I'll be talking about it too. I'm looking forward to Picard. I'm looking forward to Twilight Zone, and then very much looking forward to canceling it. But we'll talk about that later.
So, you want to introduce the first movie because I saw this. I loved it. You just would
I've never seen either one of these. It's a sequel to the hit Netflix film. This is to All the Boys. P.S. I still love you. As the relationship with Peter continues to grow, Laura Jean reunites with another recipient of one of her old love letters. This stars Laura Candor, Noah Centineo, Jordan Fisher, Holland Taylor, and John Corbett. So this might be something I catch up on in the next few weeks because I heard the first one was very likable. I gotta imagine you liked it, Mr. Romcom.
You know what? I enjoyed this one. I thought it was pretty sweet. It just picks up right where the movie left off the last time. So we're already into the relationship between Peter and Laura Jean. But then one of the letters we never heard about. We never heard about the letter to John Ambrose. We never heard anything about it until now. And so John enters her life, throws her up topsy-turvy because now she's thinking, do I really love Peter? Or is Peter in love with his ex? I don't know. And so she's torn, and you're like, girl, just get your head in the goddamn game. You got Peter. Don't think anybody else. Peter loves you.
Why do I picture you saying that in your living room? Like, girl, get your head in the game.
Yeah,
come on.
Absolutely.
Quit messing with Noah's heart.
I think Holland Taylor shows up as Stormy, who's an older lady. She lives in a nursing home, and this is where John.
That's an older actress, I thought.
Yeah, she lives in she's an older confidant to Laura Jean, who happens to be volunteering in this well-to-do assisted living community. I mean, when I say well-to-do, it looks like they have like a 5-bedroom home she has, in this community. And that's where John Ambrose is also trying to get his credit hours for volunteering to make it look good on anything. And it just happened to be that they happen to be volunteering for the same thing. John still harbors feelings toward Laura Jean, and you find a lot of other stuff. There's another one. There's a thing in there with John Corbin and Soraya Blue, who plays the next door neighbor. Who John Corbin plays Dr. Covey, who's the dad. Okay, he comes back. He plays the dad, but then they have a sub-romance plot with them two, and I'm like, I want to see more of this one too. I want to see this one grow because I already saw the other grow. I know this is about teens. Let's get John Corbett and them together, and they happen to get together. It's not gonna. They don't really. They just paint by numbers for them. They just one day they're there and one day they're now together. But all in all, though, I found it a fascinatingly fun film, as I do most romantic comedies. Again, everyone just is so charismatic, and it's so much fun. It's on Netflix. I gave it a thumbs up, of course, because I want more. I think it's supposed to be a three thing anyway. This is
all the boys that love PPPS.
Yeah, I guess, or maybe the boy I marry. I don't really know what the third one will be.
To the man I love.
Yeah. So, but I gave it 4 snowflakes.
Ooh,
it was so much fun. I just enjoy romantic comedies, and it's just a great bunch of chemistry amongst
I like
the whole
it.
cast.
Solid 4. As I said, this is one I've thought about seeing because I saw them. I think they won Best Kiss at the Movie Awards for MTV.
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah,
I saw some good chemistry there.
Absolutely. So the next movie we're going to go run down will be The Grudge 2020. I'm just making sure everyone doesn't think it's the old Sarah Michelle Gellar.
No.
I
wish.
Yeah, who doesn't at that point? It's a house. A house is cursed by a vengeful ghost that dooms those who enter with a violent death. And this is on the state side. This isn't on the Japan side. This is basically. You'll fill me in. I know some about what it's about, but this one stars Andrea Rosenborough, John Cho, Betty Gilpin, who I'm so happy for her. She's finally getting the roles that she gets. Demian, what is it? Bashir, he said? Bashir and Frankie Faison. Faison. So, Faison. Is it Donald Faison's brother?
I don't know. No, it might be his dad.
Oh, it might be his dad. I don't know.
Frankie Faison?
I don't off the top of my head.
Down
no.
to Earth?
No, you're the only one. But anyway, you sat and watched this. Tell me why I should watch it or why I shouldn't.
Should watch this, you silly boy. I don't know. Were you going to join me? Like I plan on seeing this in theaters January.
I was on the docket, but we never did it
because by the time life got in the way, and then by the time we were ready, it was gone, baby.
Yeah,
it was gone, which is not a good sign. And yeah, this is not a surprise January. This is the epitome of throwaway January horror. It's boring, dude. There's nothing new here, and in fact, I watched some of the bonus features because I'm sick in my head for some reason. And the director is just a fan, and he does homages, which then makes it even more boring because it ends the same as some of the previous ones. It has nothing new.
There's more than one Grudge?
There's two. There's 2 for sure with SMG.
Wow.
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
I don't remember the second one.
I believe there's a third with directed video, and then there's like 2 or 3 Japanese ones.
Wow.
It was a Japanese remake.
Yeah, I saw the
Ring.
Japanese. The first Japanese one I saw was fantastic.
I should watch that.
That'll scare the bejesus out of you.
I've only seen the American ones, and even like I said, I wish this was the first one. Not that I even like that one that much. That one's like maybe a 2.5er.
But what I found though, and you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I read it that this takes in the same timeline as the Japanese version with Michelle Gellar.
This starts out with the character basically leaving that famous Japanese house. And I guess another character that had something to do with the people. You even hear her talk to one of the Japanese characters on the phone.
Oh, okay.
And then she brings the curse to stateside.
Well,
the curse will follow you no matter what.
Damn it all! I'm never going to Japan. I'm never going to do that.
And you also got to make sure it doesn't follow anyone you know to the stateside, because that's the point. Is that it keeps going from house to house, because once you enter that, and then
that's true. Yeah.
So anywho, man, this is it's boring. You mentioned Gilpin. That's one of the problems is that it jumps between 3 different timelines. So each time you're kind of like, oh, we're back here now. Oh, we're back here. And because of that, you don't care about any of the characters for sure, including Betty Gilpin, who's just a housewife who then, comes across the Grudge, or her husband John Cho does, and yeah, this thing is just, and it's boring. It's very much one of those. It's built on just close the cabinet. Oh, a guy. Turn around. Oh, a monster. A Grudge like victim, and then just nothing new to it. Yeah, I have nothing.
It just
special to say.
looked awful in the trailer. So
it looked okay. It's rated R, so it's a lot bloodier than the American versions were. The first two.
Yeah, they're PG-13s. I believe,
PG-13 horror films, which probably made it them have to be a little creepier because of that.
Yeah.
There's one kind of cool scene with Lin Shaye, and I didn't hate the fact that it started off with a little bit of Andre Riseborough is a detective who's piecing together this case. William Sadler, who's also in it, is Bashir's old partner, and he's obsessed with it too for a little bit. But again, even him, he's like, you find that out in like 2-3 scenes, and he's gone. And it really is. There's just nothing special here. That's why I think it has both a bad critic and audience score. There's just nothing really to grab here.
What do you give it then? What do you?
Because there's a couple of interesting moments, and
don't give it a 3, you son bitch.
Did you say 3? I'm giving it a 1.5.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
At
least I'm just saying I'm going to go above a 1. It's not a 1, but I want to say 2, just be nice, but I'm not going to be that nice. Just
you shouldn't have to be.
You
have a grudge against this movie.
I do. I'm sorry.
They wasted your time.
It's like they just didn't have anything new or interesting to say, which is sadly not the last time I'm going to mention a horror film having nothing new to say. But before we get there. I don't even know what this is.
It's a direct Chinese film. So
it's a what?
It's a direct Chinese movie. It came directly from China.
Okay, you said that weird.
Yeah.
Neja,
yes.
A young boy Neja is birthed from a heavenly pearl by the primeval Lord of Heaven. What the? Born with unique powers, Neja finds himself as an outcast who is hated and feared, destined by prophecy to bring destruction to the world. The young boy must choose between good and evil in order to break the shackles of fate and become the hero. So again, what is this? Anime? What is this?
It says this is actual digital. What's it called? Digital animation. Very, very decent digital animation. I think they might have stole some DreamWorks animators to do this, or copied their work. I didn't give any credits to these because I couldn't find any credit that it said, okay, here's the American cast, but I couldn't differentiate the two. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I'm not going to even have you, because I'm a good guy, butcher names like that, because it's a bad deal.
Is there an American version?
There is. I did listen to it.
Anyone famous?
No, not one. I did watch it in English dub because no matter what I did, the subtitles weren't tracking as well as it should, and I was like behind in dialogue, and I was like, so I could fine. Usually I watch them non-dubbed, but this time I did. Voice acting was okay. Some of the scenes are beautiful. But it's very heavy for children. This is a children's film. This is a children's film that's also directed to, because they have heaven and hell basically, and it's God who created 2 pearls and made evil and good and put a timestamp on this child who when he's born at 3 years old he dies. Okay, but since he has like a demon in him, he kind of he's older than he looks. You know what I'm saying? For a 3-year-old, he's more spry. So by the time he's 3, the prophecy states that he'll be struck by lightning and killed, and there's no way you can get around it. And I found it fascinating. It was interesting, take of the Chinese culture of how they believe in life and death. I just found it, I don't know, it was kind of mesmerizing, and I wasn't on any illicitness on this. I mean, literally, it was a decent story where you had the dragons. There was a dragon's lair, with dragons, sea serpent dragons, that are under the ocean. And that one's supposed to be good and take his seat at the table of heaven. And the other one is supposed to be killed. And what turns out is the kid who's supposed to be the good one turns evil, and the evil turns good. And it's just, and then I should just spoil because I don't know who's going to watch it, but they both die. There's not a happy ending, really. And I was like, well, this is no wonder why.
Why'd you spoil it?
I don't know, because it got me to the point of which it's still watchable. It just kind of
watching it now.
Well, you weren't going to watch it anyway.
True, but
the point is,
took it away from me.
Well, yeah, you can still watch it because
I'm
not going to tell you how it happens.
I don't
but
crawl.
Yeah. You tell me how you want to tell me about that.
I watched it.
Yeah. Did that ruin the anything for you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it didn't. Anyway.
Yeah, it did. He gets his arm fucking ripped off.
Hey, why are you spoiling it here, buddy? Well, look, we're all shut in.
Well, the
I'm
ending.
allowed to
If you
spoil
go
this.
back to episode 4.
Yeah, go back to episode 4. But no, Nazar was an actually decent film. It just left me like, what? Like I'm dumbstruck, and I'll probably watch the sequel if they make one. I gave it 3.5. It's pretty good. It's just very heavy for children. If you have a child who's wanting to watch something that's pretty heavy, where they actually have a monster that eats a child as well, I'm like, holy crap, Of course, the child gets saved.
Now I'm in.
I'm like, wow.
The child gets saved if he gets eaten?
Yes, it's weird. I'm not going to even tell you how that happens, but I'm spoiling a lot.
Dutch, telling you everything, but without telling you anything.
Yeah, I'm not, but it's fun to watch. It's 3.5. The animation's fun. The dialogue's, but it's good nonetheless.
Quick sidebar.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. I'm talking about it. Yeah.
All right, sidebar over with.
Okay.
Coming up next on the docket from Amazon Prime this time, we have Troop Zero. In rural 1977 Georgia, did I read the name? I'd screwed you over, didn't I?
That's all right. You go ahead.
All right, you get the next two.
Yeah.
In 1977 Georgia, a misfit girl dreams of life in outer space. When a competition offers her a chance to be recorded on NASA's golden record, she recruits a makeshift troop of birdie scouts, forging friendships that'll last a lifetime. You think they last a lifetime? I don't think they last a lifetime.
Some of them do.
This one stars McKenna Grace, Viola Davis, Jim Gaffigan, Allison Janney, and Shirley Shotwell.
And you want me to put Mike Epps in there, too. So we'll throw Mike Epps in.
Oh, whatever. Yeah, Mike
But
Epps.
he's a friend of both Viola and Jim Gaffigan's character. I actually have him in my notes just in
if
case.
it wasn't Mike Epps, he probably wouldn't have made the poster.
Yeah, but yeah, he plays a very small minor part. That's if they would have cast say anybody else, it still would have worked. So
I feel like I just said that, but all right.
well, I'm just saying. It's just for me, it was like he's here. They didn't really do much with him when they had him. But it's a very good story. Mackenzie Grace plays Christmas Flint, along with Jim Gaffigan, who plays Ramsey Flint, who's an attorney. He's the worst attorney in town. You have him, you're guaranteed to lose. And so she just lost her mother, and Viola Davis is playing the unwilling surrogate to the mother figure in the life. And I found it very very fun. McKenna Grace. I'm sorry, I want to say Mackenzie Davis. Who's that? But
That is somebody, though.
it is. But I just
Terminator Girl, maybe? I don't know.
yeah. But McKenna Grace does a wonderful job. If you haven't seen her before, she was in Gifted alongside.
That is a good girl. Okay,
yeah,
I thought
yeah.
so.
And she did a great performance in that one, along with Chris Evans. But Viola Davis, she plays the reluctant school birdie mom. She's the one who's recruited into it. And then Allison Janney plays a big stuck-up principal.
Isn't she great at that?
Oh, she's fabulous, and she's very snooty, and she just presents herself saying, "Those are nothing but ragamuffins you have there, and I'll give you the only troop that's available." That's how they got Troop Zero, And so she laughed. She goes, "I didn't even know that was a number till today," And you're like, "Okay, that's fabulous." But yeah, so everyone gets together. There, you have good cast. There's a kid named Joseph Shotwell. He plays Joseph, McKenna's best friend, and he's very out for the 1977 Georgian
Charlie
time.
Shotwell.
Yeah, Charlie Shotwell. I'm sorry. Plays Joseph, and he's very out. Very, very feminine kid, and his dad's like, "Okay, son, we're going to go to do football practice. Run, run, run!" And he's like, "I can't run." And all of a sudden, Viola Davis walks by, and he goes, "Son, you're gonna be running a lot." It's just the funny thing because he all he wants to do is just sing, dance, and do hair. As this child does, and that's how he gets his first badge. No spoilers there, but yeah, it's a fantastic, fun film for everybody. Great family. Jim Gaffigan, when he's in it, he's like a delight. He's getting better every time I see him in a role. Viola Davis, they use her pretty well as just somebody who is in the. She has that I don't want to be a part of it, but then and reluctantly it becomes a part of it. And she becomes a different person. Everyone in the movie changes. There's redeeming qualities for everybody except for the mean kids who are supposedly the good kids. Those are the mean kids, not the bullies. That's the other ones. But yeah, this is a great film. Watch it. It's on Amazon Prime, and I gave it a 3.5. I gave it 3.5.
I'm gonna go a little lower than you. I watched finished this a couple hours ago.
Oh, good.
There's definitely some great qualities as well. I think McKenna's fantastic in this. She's definitely the heart and the character of this. Gaffigan when he pops up. Davis, come on, does Davis ever do any wrong?
No.
I just felt like to me it got a little too melodramatic at times with the other troop and how they're just bullies and then, Allison Janney it got also a little cliched with them and the parts of it that I just kind of love the first 10 minutes and then once this became about the troop
I
didn't love it as much and also too like you kind of mentioned the thing with like the dad and the effeminate kid like there just wasn't. That's it. There was that one scene with the football thing, and then the dad just in the play at the end, and then also even with Jim Gaffigan and the fact that they lost their mom, it's brought up like twice. And like I don't know, I just felt like there wasn't ever focused enough. And like Mike Epps really is just thrown in there for extra comedic relief like 2 to 3 times, and he has no arc whatsoever. And I don't know, I just didn't feel like the bond with these kids as much as I would like. There's one kind of friendship that I like, but again,
with Hell No and Christmas, but I think though they do explain to me why they don't bring up the mom as much is because the father is still suffering from the grief because it didn't happen but less than what it sounds like a year, and they just don't want to bring it up. And in that last scene when they're sitting outside when the stars are falling,
last scene.
They do talk about that.
I know, but that's what I mean. It's developed in like 3 scenes though. There's don't talk about it. Then they don't talk about it for the entire movie, and then they talk about it real quick.
But it's a sweet little endearment.
It is. No, there's definitely.
It doesn't need to be bogged down in
it's definitely hard
acrimony
here.
Of oh my
it's
god,
just a little too schmaltzy for me at times. That's why I said I'm still going to give it a good review. Just I'm going to lower that half a star. I'm taking it away. I'm giving it a 3.
I should give it a 4 now, just for the fun of it. No, 3.5 is where I'm going to stay.
Spite review.
Yeah. The next movie we already went over. You already went over it. I actually finally got around to it. It's called Spencer Confidential. When 2 Boston police officers are murdered, an ex-cop Spencer teams up with the no-nonsense roommate Hawk to take down criminals. This is Mark Wahlberg, Winston Duke, Alan Arkin, Bokeem Woodbine, Eliza Schlesinger, and Mark Maron. I like Mark Maron, but I know he didn't have a very big part in it. I just liked his character in it.
He felt like if this was a TV show, would be a guy that would be in it like half the season. Yeah. Like just use him occasionally.
Absolutely. And Winston Duke. He is such a great delight. I use that word a lot, a delight, because he's fun to watch on screen, charismatic as hell. He was in Us, as the father.
Us, and he's M'Baku
in Black Panther. Yeah. And, I want to see him in a lot more things. And this is a great change of pace for him as well. This time he plays an ex-con. I think it was an aggravated assault murder or something by accident, like first-degree murder or something like that, or second. One of the lesser ones, so he's out on parole. Yeah. And Spencer is played by Mark Wahlberg. And, Henry, I believe, is Alan Arkin, who I love Alan Arkin. And I wish I had a lot more of Alan Arkin in this movie. I would have loved to see Alan. I would like I said, I could see a sequel easily with this. Yeah. And I enjoyed it.
He would be in every episode if this was a TV show.
Yeah, if this was a TV show, Alan Arkin would be like the dad, who would always...
He'd be the same character, just he runs the house.
That's what I'm saying, but he'd be like the dad kind of character trying to bring everybody in. Hey, as he did at the end of this one. But I find it it was funny where it needed to be. It kept my attention the whole time. Enough action, enough suspense. I thought that what's his name? Bokeem Woodbine was great as the villain. I just thought it was just a fun time to watch it. Schlesinger, her character was crazy. And no wonder why you wanted to hide from her all the time. So, yeah, I gave it a thumbs up on Netflix. You can watch it on Netflix. I gave it 3. I think you gave it 3, right? If I'm not mistaken.
2.5 to 3. Definitely no more than 3.
Yeah, and I gave it 3. I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. But it wasn't...
That's how you enjoyed the hell out of it.
I enjoy the heck out of it then. Okay, but not the hell. But close to it. I could have gone 3.5. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm just kind of rosy.
It's spiting me.
But no.
You said 3.
But it's 3.
It's out there in the ether.
It's out there, 3.
No more.
Make another one, Netflix. I'll be okay.
I mean, they if it got views, they must have signed them for sequels because, like I said, it ends with them going like, "No, Spencer, don't get any ideas."
Yeah.
So, like, like I said, it's
way
very
to
much
spoil a movie.
It's very much set up. Like, no, but I'm just saying, like, it's one of those. A lot of movies do that now. Where it's very much world building. This particular movie.
I'm gonna go next because you screwed me over one time. So
I know. I'm really stopping you.
I'll screw you again, there, Austin.
Zeroville Will with 2 tattoos. I'm just playing.
Anyway, the next movie we'll talk about is Zeroville. You watch this by yourself. It's with 2 tattoos of Montgomery Clift and Elizabeth Taylor on his shaved head. Viker rides a bus into Hollywood and soon makes an impression on a beautiful actress, thus beginning a dreamlike journey through the film business in the 1970s. This has James Franco, Megan Fox, Seth Rogen, Will Ferrell, Joey King, Jackie Weaver, Dave Franco. Of course, you can't have Dave Franco without his brother. Craig Robinson, I love, Gus Van Sant, and Danny McBride. So tell me, boss, you watch this. Where are you going with it?
Oh boy. I feel like
a lot of star power.
I feel like everything. A lot of star power, man.
And I saw this was on the list, and it was only released in Russia. So
it was released in like nothing. It bombed even for that standard, man. I've been interested in this for a few years now because I remember seeing the poster of that shaved bald head with that cast, directed by Franco too. And then, Disaster Artist came out and they're both about Hollywood. So I'm like, all right, maybe Franco's got a little niche going on here. And he doesn't. There's a reason. There's a reason this has fallen to the wayside that it was made 3-4 years ago.
It only made $78,000.
It's one of those things that it's just it doesn't know what it wants to be. The first scene and the only scene with Danny McBride, by the way, there's several of these actors that are in it briefly. One scene with Danny McBride is played very comical. They think he murdered somebody and they're do it. I don't know. Like it's very comical. Then later on, there's trippy scenes with him and Megan Fox and he's in love and he's editing and he's becoming obsessed. And, that's a whole nother movie from what you saw before. And Seth Rogen then and Will Ferrell are hamming it up, which is different from the stuff with him and Fox. And it time jumps. Joey King goes from like 6 to she's like 14 all of a sudden. Characters make weird decisions. Craig Robinson has a funny scene, but it could be cut out and wouldn't matter. It's a mess of a film. It really is, man. And Will Ferrell, as I mentioned, if you watch the trailer and if you look at the poster, he's not on it, despite being arguably the second lead, which either A, goes that his management was like, don't fucking mention him, or sometimes I know with uncredited things, they do it as a favor, so that way he doesn't have to pay his normal fee, because I'm sure Ferrell's expensive, so it's a way of him doing something he wants to do.
Just for fun. Without
getting his normal fee out there. And this is a slodge of a film, man. Like, there's a couple of interesting moments. Like I said, I actually like the Robinson scenes, even though you could cut him and it wouldn't matter. I actually like that scene because he goes to rob him, and then they end up just talking about movies and develop like a weird friendship. But again, that's brought up twice. And the stuff with King and Fox just, this is a slodgy, messy film, man. For the second time today, it's a 1.5. Oh. There's a couple of interesting things here. But, I mean, even look at the trailer. The trailer tries to almost sell it to you as more of a straight comedy, which it's not. And there's only one trailer out there, too. There's no multiple trailers. There's one trailer, which looks like someone edited on, like, Windows Movie Maker with, like, graphics, like, weird, like, 70s graphics and stuff like that, too. And it doesn't make any sense, too. Like, I'm done with talking about this film, man.
Okay, so 1.5, 1.5, Zeroville. Talking about... this one right here. You want me to just introduce one? Because I know you're going to go on a rant on this one. Or do you want to rant on it first?
Sure.
I'll
wrap this and then I'll do the last thing.
Okay, you can do that. I don't even know why you watched it. But anyway, Jacob's Ladder, the most recent one. Not the one with Tim Robbins. This one is with Michael or Ealy. After losing his brother in combat, Jacob Singer returns home from Afghanistan, only to be pulled into a mind-twisting state of paranoia. Singer soon realizes that his sibling is alive, but life is not what it seems. This stars Michael Ealy, Jesse Williams, Nicole Barari, and Carla Souza, I believe. Souza. What kind of a train wreck is this?
Oh, man, this movie...
It became...
upsets me on so many levels. I really like and champion the first one. It has a fan base. I still think it's almost slightly underrated because I just think it's a really unique film. And if you want to see it, go watch the original. This thing, not that it just has nothing new to say, my friend.
Yep.
It has even less to say.
And I thought the first one had nothing to say to me.
I'll watch The Grudge 5 more times before I watch this again.
Wow.
I mean, if you talk about boring, this thing is boring. This thing has no budget. It has no vision.
And Michael Ealy's a good actor.
And he's not even that good in this just because he has nothing to go with script-wise. Like, even him, I felt like was a slodge. And again, like you said, like I'm perfectly fine with him as an actor. And he can have fun with a shitty script. Look at the weird one with Dennis Quaid, The Intruder.
Yeah.
I thought he was fun in. And I'll even elevate the movie because he was at least giving it his all.
Yeah.
And not that he's not trying here. But
he just couldn't get anything.
Yeah,
out of it.
just the uniqueness of the first one, the dreaminess of it, the creepiness, and the effects are just not here. Partly probably because they don't have the budget.
And this one was bogged down too before it was released, I believe.
This is another one that's been done probably since 2018, 2017. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
this has been talked about for a while, and then it was released in like 7 theaters and on like Dish Network or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got it cheap on Vudu like I think 6 months ago, and I just let it sit because and it took me a few tries.
You just didn't want to rip the Band-Aid off.
And, no, because like again, you look at reviews of this. I mean, again, it makes The Grudge look Oscar worthy. Like you look at reviews of this, like I don't know anyone that has been like, well, hold on, there's some merit here. I don't hate the ending because it seems like they at least put some thought in the last 5 minutes. So like that's kind of the best redeeming quality I can say for this film. But I'm not going to give it a 1.5 though.
I hope you don't because you got to go lower now.
Exactly.
How low?
I was trying to tease like I was going to give it a 2.
How low can you go?
No, I'm going to give it a 1.
Ah, yes,
it is a 1.
He cheaped out on that one, don't you think, there, Mister?
One of the rare ones.
Cheaped out on there, right?
Oh, you thought it was even like what?
I
half a star?
Half a star. A no star is fine.
Can we do that?
Yes, there's times where you should just put up your hands and say, "I can't do it. I just can't even give this a film credit."
I feel like I put it out there, but if I could go back, I might do a half a star.
Because I think I gave a half a star for that Meryl Streep crap, The Laundromat.
See, and I think I gave that a solid 1.5. So
Yeah.
maybe even 2.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so what's up next, buddy? Because let's just get some stand up going. Let's
talk about something that actually, for once, for the first one that you haven't seen this, right?
I have not seen it yet. It's
Okay,
on my
so
list.
for the first time today, I have something good to say about something that I've only seen and you haven't. Because so far, I think everything I reviewed that you hadn't seen was a 1.5.
Well, you gave a 3 to Troop Zero.
I'm saying that you hadn't seen.
Oh yeah.
I'm just a 1.5 star guy over here. Tom Segura's new stand-up special on Netflix dropped. It's called Ball Hog. Segura scores laughs with uncomfortable, candid stories about mothers. There's lots of funny mother stuff. Fathers following your dreams and other things you'd rather not think about. I'm a big fan of Tom Segura. Like this was a pretty easy one to click and go right to. He's got a funny podcast. He's a great stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
What was he? He was even in that Countdown movie. Remember him?
Yes.
In Countdown.
Yeah, he was the only good one out of the bunch.
Yeah, he was definitely the comedy relief. Brought a little bit of life. I think I might have given a half a score point higher because of him.
Yeah.
But I like this one. It's probably, I hate to say, my least favorite of his bunches. But that's just because I thought his other ones were like it's another level good. I like this. Only nitpick I could maybe bring up is that like he really does go. It's funny, but like some of his jokes, if I had a nitpick, would like. They're vulgar without being super clever. It's just him like saying like crazy messed up things.
Yeah.
And that's the joke. You know what I mean? But then some other stuff is really clever. He's a funny storyteller. He's very likable too. He says crazy things, but he's definitely the kind of guy that can get away with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like I said, I even laughed just reading some of the premise that you gave me because it brought up like jokes about the mother and following your dreams, and yeah, I really liked it. Stand-up comedy is always hard for me to rate, but it's a solid 4, if not higher.
That's good. That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Fun film.
So it's a thumbs up on Netflix.
Oh, definitely thumbs up.
Watch
Thumbs it up on Netflix, and he's got like at least 3, if not more, on Netflix. So check that out. Coming up next, we got Varium, hoping to find the perfect place to live. A couple travel to a suburban neighborhood in which all the houses look identical. But when they try to leave the labyrinth-like development, each road mysteriously takes them back to where they started. No. This stars Imogen Poots, Jesse Eisenberg, and Jonathan Aris. So I was really intrigued by the trailer here. The trailer looked a little batshit crazy, which I like a batshit crazy movie.
I saw the trailer. It kind of went in one ear and out the other for me.
And this one knows that it said it was in theaters. It probably didn't get now it definitely didn't get a big release, but it's on Vudu now. It wasn't that expensive too. That's why I think I own it now actually. But I liked it, man. There's enough merit here. The problem was it definitely slows down in the middle. The trailer is very much the beginning mystery and then how it ends, and between this couple of just. And it shows in the trailer too. They actually get delivered a baby and are told to raise it at one point, and something's off with this kid. Something's off with this kid for sure. He ain't totally normal. But they're also not like at one point they wake up and the kid's screaming. They just flip him off because they weren't meant to be parents right now, and they're being held captive, and it gets a little crazy. You can argue maybe it gives you some answers. I think it leaves more to be wondered about though. But I like the journey. I like the lead characters here. Poots and Iceberg deliver good performance. A little different too from Eisenberg, from what you've seen in the past too, especially once things aren't going their way, and he's obsessed with digging this hole throughout most of the movie, which that, like I said, kind of gets boring after a while. He's in a hole for a decent amount of the movie, but his transgression of the character.
Was that? And other than holes, there was another movie I saw. It might have been Burbs. Did they have somebody digging a hole in Burbs or the Burbs?
Birds.
The Burbs.
Oh, yeah, right?
I don't know. Something like that. It seems like there's always somebody digging a hole for no apparent reason. I'm not sure why they do
digging
that.
Digging a hole. So I think it's worth checking out. I'm going to give it a 3.
Oh, okay, good.
It's a fun little creepy film.
Now, this next film, really, that one I didn't have any thought about. This one, though, I've almost turned on like 3 or 4 times, and I've not gotten to it. But I hear it delivers, and then it kind of gives up, but then it kind of delivers a little bit more, but it just kind of gives up at the end almost. But tell me what you think on this, because this is Come to Daddy?
Last new review of the day, you said it, Come to Daddy. A privileged man-child arrives at the beautiful and remote coastal cabin of his estranged father, whom he hasn't seen in 30 years. He quickly discovers that not only is his dad a jerk, he also has a shady past that is rushing up to catch up with him. This stars Elijah Wood, Stephen McHattie, Garfield Wilson, Martin Donovan, Michael Smiley, and Simon Chin. Another trailer that luckily I forgot enough about by the time I saw this too, because I like the kind of journey that you put on here. Again, another one that for a quick minute kind of slows down, but then that last little bit, it's interesting. I don't hate the ending. Again, it's another ending that you kind of question as to whether or not they really solidify the finality of the story, and even how you end with the villain, who I quite liked. It leaves a little bit to be desired here. But the journey here is fun. McHattie, who plays his dad, there's a lot of strange back and forth at the beginning. A little bit of cat and mouse. He tricks Elijah Wood into admitting some of his kind of failures, and it mentions that he's a man child, which actually made me laugh because you don't know that right away, but you come to learn that. He tries to I know Elton John, and then his dad tricks him into finally admitting I don't know Elton John. I want to look cool, and the mystery, and then there's more stuff. He finally finds there's a tunnel underneath, and hey, another hole in the ground. And
there's always a hole somewhere,
So I liked it again. I don't want to repeat too much from the last movie, but I feel like I have to. It's a 3-star.
It's another 3.
The journey's fun. It leaves a little bit to be desired here. But
you rallied in the end, though. I noticed you've rallied in the end.
It rallies in the end, but again, the end's kind of really cool, but at the same time, the end is it leaves a little bit to be desired. That makes sense. You know what I mean? The last exact shot and scene, it's not too bad, but I don't know.
So you went from 1.5 to 1.5, I think, to 1, I think, and then you went to 3, 3, and 3. So you finished solid.
Yeah,
you did well. Thank you.
Well, 4 through 3.
4, 3, 3.
Oh, time.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the other one. Yeah. Okay, 4. So there you go. Those are what we had. We're gonna have more. I kind of been sandbagging a little bit because I don't want to put them all out there just yet. Because we'll figure it out. We'll figure out what more of the movie reviews we got. But next, we have the top 5 post-apocalyptic films that we.
What an apropos list!
I tell you, it's perfect. It encompasses a lot: sci-fi, thrillers, dramas, comedies, anything you need, suspense. But we opened up the floor, and I'll start it off here. My bottom 5. I'm going to just say all the Mel Gibson Mad Max films. That's just one big group. Resident Evil films, love them. The Bad Batch, makes it, and the 1968 version of Planet of the Apes. Those are my bottom 5.
That's 4 movies.
No, I those are 5. because those are 5. Those are good enough. 1, 2, 3, 4. But again, I have a whole bunch grouped, so that's my bottom 10. You can figure out,
Oh, yeah.
That's good enough. That's good
Give me
enough.
your 5 then. You still don't know how we do the show, do you?
Oh, I thought we were all going to do our bottoms, and then we're going to do our 5s.
We've done it differently. Every week we do this. And we've always done it this way, but yet every week you go, I know we're doing it the other way.
Fine.
We can if you want, but we've never done it that way.
I would prefer to do it
I
that
would
way.
do it that way.
But my number 5, though, is Clive Owen, Julianne Moore, Children of Men. It's about basically the last girl on Earth. Girls basically are all dying off because of this very symptomatic flu type symptom, and everything dies, and so you got to basically smuggle this child out on the other end of the world. So it's very gripping, very sci-fi, but it's very kind of apropos today. You never know what's going to happen in this genre of our, what we're all going through. But it was a very good time to bring that movie out, Children of Men, with Clive Owen, Julianne Moore.
Well, so far I've got some fun news. Oh, clockwise now.
I believe you have. Do you have a top 5, right?
Yep.
Or do you have a top 10 or 5? Which one do you want to do?
Well, I'll just stick with the 5.
Okay,
but
so
I
what's-
will honestly say that for some strange reason, Oblivion and The Edge of Tomorrow are damn good films that should be highly up in there.
No, that they
Edge of
are.
Tomorrow, yeah. Oblivion, you're the only human being to say that.
Well,
so.
no, that was actually on some other list that I did see. I actually saw.
Not in the top 5, I can guarantee
No,
that.
I'm just saying on the top, 20 or 25 people have put that up in there.
Okay.
You know what? Just because you don't agree with it doesn't mean
It's the truth.
no bullshit. Anyway,
Not bullshit.
Go
Oblivion.
He forgot Tom Cruise was in
That's
that.
No,
what he's
you
forgot.
only thought
And
about
Morgan
Tom
Freeman.
Cruise.
I believe Morgan Freeman's in that one too.
That means nothing. Morgan Freeman makes a lot of bad movies.
You son of a bitch! You take that back.
does. He
You
does.
take that back. What's your
Red
number
2.
5?
Take it back now.
What's your number 5 there, Diz?
My number 5, let's go with The Matrix.
Yes. That's you know what though that could happen. I don't know if it can or not, but
That could happen. Maybe. I don't know.
They're making a 4th one, so it could happen, right?
So far, I
You
have
like the number 5?
nothing in common with your list, Dutch.
Of course not. You have something in common with this,
Yeah,
probably.
he stole one of my pictures now.
Oh,
My number 10 is I Am Legend. Number 9, 28 Days Later. Number 8, Shaun of the Dead. Number 7, 12 Monkeys. Number 6, Independence Day. And my number 5, I wanted to start it off light. This Is the End. The comedy movie with who's throwing the party? James Franco's
James
throwing
Franco,
the
yeah.
party for all his friends. And right away, the rapture is coming. There's breakings in the earth. There's monsters. Everyone's dying. Mindy Kaling, David Krumholtz,
Emma
Jason
Watson
Segel.
beats the shit out of everybody.
Emma Watson shows up, beats the shit, leaves. Really just funny movie. I've always wanted to see a comedic take with actors. It was something I actually thought about. Like, let's see how actors would react. Everyone plays a weird alternate version of themselves. Some great stuff with Danny McBride here. Another great cameo later on with who McBride teams up with.
Oh, yes. You can tell us
Really
who it
fun
is.
movie. I had hoped. My only complaint is that I think there could be sequels to show even more of the outside world and what's going on here, and more of the afterlife. That's my only complaint. Is I wanted more.
You
I
want
love
more
this
of the
film.
crazy, yeah. My number 4, you mentioned it, but I enjoyed it a lot. I was at the theater when I went to watch it. 12 Monkeys with Bruce Willis, Brad Pitt. They're trying to figure out a cure. Another plague has hit the world, and they're trying to find that. And they were trying to figure out, was it for the monkeys or how this works? And Brad Pitt's character is so like schizophrenic, I believe, or maddening, I believe. I'm trying to remember most of it, but it was such a great sci-fi film for its time. It still holds up to this day. Bruce Willis, when he gave a crap, again, it is, and unfortunately, this is how we name Bruce Willis films anymore. When he gave a crap, and I hate to say that, and because I think he'd want to beat me up if he heard that.
What's the cutoff? Like mid 2000s?
I think so. Right after what was it? Unbreakable. I think.
Yeah.
I think after that,
His last one.
it's kind of just fell apart after that. But my number 5 is 12 Monkeys. It's well worth the watch.
All right, my number 4 is Independence Day.
Ah, nice. Who is that? Who did that film? One of the
It's Roland Emmerich, right?
the Emmerich
who
brothers.
loves destroying the world because he's also the I think knowing and
was it what was that
19 no not 19 2012 2009
2012
John Cusack
I think it was 2012.
so that dude loves destroying the world. Oh, is he also Day After Tomorrow maybe? Which I thought about. I like that film. Honorable
Wow,
mention.
so far I am nowhere in your guys' ballpark.
And so far me and Dizzle have had 2 in common.
Oh, that's good. So
My number 4 is 10 Cloverfield Lane. This is the opposite of the last
John
movie.
Goodman, right?
John Goodman. It's a very secluded movie of a woman getting into a car accident. John Goodman finds her, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and keeps her kind of held hostage. Her and another guy, John Gallagher, and tells him though there's a reason though. There's something's wrong with the outside world. You got to stay here. You got to trust me. And saying that there's some you can't go outside. And it's a really great, tense movie. So many great moments in this. Easily to me the best of the Cloverfield bunch. It's a really nice secluded movie. There's 3 actors for 99% of it, if not all of it. I won't spoil it, unlike some people on the show.
I'll tell you what happens at the end. I'll tell you. I ain't afraid.
Yeah, and I really dug this movie.
They go outside.
Very, very good, very, very good surprise too, because it was one of those things that they had a good marketing campaign too of keeping it kind of wraps up as to what this was.
It was actually the only trailer campaign that made you say, "I wonder what's going on with that movie."
Yeah.
That's very rare that takes place anymore. My next film, sticking with for some reason today's society, I loved it. It had I think it made Matt Damon, Gwyneth Paltrow, and a few cast of others. Contagion, where
That was great.
that was great. It was
They hit a home run.
and it's basically based on what's going on now.
Right.
It's very scary. This woman goes to Hong Kong, comes back, and she can't figure out what she has, and everyone is now catching this disease, so much like this virus that's going on around now, and there's no cure right now, and so everyone keeps dropping dead. They're trying to figure it all out. I believe Forrest Whitaker may be in this. I'm trying to remember the cast. It was such a great big cast ensemble.
Huge cast, Jude Law, maybe.
And, I believe Jude Law was in it, and it was just a fabulous piece of work. I think it was number 5 or something like that on what you want to watch or something like that on like Netflix or something.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
People are watching it now. Yeah.
Yeah, so watch it. It's
very
just
relevant.
Yeah, it's very relevant to today and how people didn't take it as seriously right away.
I have no interest, never had, never will. I don't want to scare the shit out of myself even more than I already am.
Well,
so
that's true. That's true.
Not watching it.
Diz, what do you got for number 3 on your list?
Number 3, now I'm going back to my original classics of all times because that's just how I roll. So I will stick with the original Planet of the Apes.
There you go, 1968. Was it Burt Lancaster?
That was
Burt Lancaster?
what?
No, Charlton Heston.
Charlton
Okay,
Heston.
yeah.
No, Burt Lancaster always gets me for some reason. They always look the
Get
same.
your
What
hands
does he
off
say
me,
whenever he,
you damn dirty apes.
Yeah, but that was his first. I believe that was when he was able to talk. Don't forget, he was quiet most of the time because he had a larynx.
Yeah, they shock him or stab him or something.
Yeah,
Like,
and so he couldn't speak for a long time. You blow it up. At the end, which I think is a great twist.
Man, that's
Such a great twist.
Kid, I used to stay at home.
That movie scared me a little bit as a kid.
And I started watching it. It did me too. Those apes freaked me out.
Yeah.
That shit
Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius.
Yeah.
Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius.
It was a very good film.
It was on my short list. It didn't make my top 10, but I did think about putting it on there.
Yeah.
And then when he came across to that Statue of Liberty, and I was like, wow, that really had an impact.
Yeah, it still does. That scene is still a great scene, and it goes to show you what can happen. I don't know about apes running the world, but I'm just saying shows what we can do as humans.
And Abe runs the country right now.
A big gorilla with no brain. Anywho, what is next on yours?
My number 3, Dizzle already talked about it. Cut to me.
Are you
The
backstroking?
Matrix. Yeah. Swim fan.
Yeah.
The Matrix.
That is a Contagion type film.
What a great another view of what the universe could become or is, and just a view of that almost apocalyptic like world of just the machines. And that first one, man, like just the buzz. Like I remember being young and like even my parents being like, "We gotta see this Matrix movie." Of all ages, just we're into this movie here, and that first one's fantastic. The sequels. Will, and
It gets
they are
off track
filming
toward the end. So.
the fourth one, or they were filming the fourth one with Keanu until a different kind of Matrix stopped them. So yeah, this I think you got to give it up to that. That just fantastic made film. Still stands up to this day too. It's just a unique vision and worth checking out. Faux shizzle.
Now you talked about. I don't know if it was on your top 5. I have very bad memory sometimes. But my second film is another one where I know I would only last 5 minutes in. But if it were to go for reals, 28 Days Later. That's my number 2 because
The zombies are fast. What the hell?
I know. I was like, that was the first time I ever saw a zombie world. Basically, that I would not exist in. I mean, literally, every other zombie world, if you look at it.
shot. They're slow.
I got a shot. I got a Shaun of the Dead shot. You know, that's how, you know what I'm talking about? But these guys run like jackrabbits. They go like crazy. Gazelles and cheetahs, they got nothing on them because I just sat there and I'm like, oh, I would be dead. Right there. As soon as I go up the bedroom, in the first, I think one of the scenes where the lady opens the door and her husband's or the guy opens it up and the girl's going crazy at him, like that, and right there I would have been dead because I couldn't have shut the door fast enough to get her out. But yeah, it is a crazy, trippy film, and again, something that may one day happen. I just like to say we're always in a possibility of crazy diseases that could happen to like almost make you a zombie. It's more of like rage is what it was really triggering.
Yeah, because they even say they're
like,
not zombies in the film. They're zombies.
They're
but
zombies, but they're ragey zombies that are dead. But yeah, that was my number 2, 28 Days Later.
My number 2 is going to be Escape from New York.
Yes.
Fucking classic.
Kurt Russell. Right now, I you know what's funny is I was thinking the same thing. You know, I was thinking at the workplace. I was like, how does that Escape from New York play out? Because I remembered that, you know, I was at first I didn't realize it was a prison. I forgot that it was a prison that they made after the World War III or whatever it was with the Soviets or whatever. But I was thinking, well, that's what might happen with the real New York if we can't get this shit under control. They're gonna have to build a wall around it, and people are gonna try to escape from New York City. And I was thinking that in my head. I was like, man, that movie coming close to real life right now, you know, because you go in New York, you can't get out, you know, and that's what I think. So it kind of reflects on today's.
Naples Airport has no jets or whatever because if you come from a lot of those areas, you have to stay in quarantine.
Yeah.
So they're not even coming around.
Which is a good thing. We need to stop the flow of traffic everywhere around. We need to. So it all bounces back to what we're up to today. Jordan, what do you have for number 2?
My number 2 is a movie that's actually about to be made into a TV series.
What?
Snowpiercer.
Oh, that looks awesome. The show does.
I
I love
so.
the movie too, though.
Movie's fantastic. It was a film that I didn't see right away. I think it might have finally saw it on Netflix or so. Yeah. And it's funny. It's a combination of what I've been saying before. It's a tight knit, secluded, but it's a huge world because from the end of the train to the beginning of the train, great journey, great cast in it as well. Looks real, you know, beautifully shot cinematography, and just
Chris
again,
Evans is a good
Chris Evans, who has picked a really interesting outside of Marvel, like a really interesting kind of filmography. You know, we mentioned Gifted before, Puncture, but again, he's really good in this as well. Octavia Spencer, who I won't spoil, who's at the end of the train, known actor.
Yes, okay. I kind of forgot for a moment.
yeah. See? And just another. What's cool about?
But we're in the very minority for actually liking this movie. There's a lot of people who don't like it.
It's polarizing because I don't know if we're in the minority as much as. It's polarizing. There's definitely a fan base for this movie, hence the TV show.
But there's a lot of people that I know that hate it.
I don't.
Who've watched it and they hate it. But I'm like, out of my friends, I am the only one besides you who really likes it and enjoys it.
No, I thought this was wonderfully made, man. No, it's a very interesting tale. One of those great. Whoa, there's a candle. We're gonna set on fire. Yes. Bleak, but hopeful too, to a degree. So I really dug this film a lot. Obviously, I dug it.
What was that? What was it? That gelatin they ate. Remember that gelatin?
Oh yeah,
that was amazing. My number 1, and I've actually used this in our other one, movies of the I think decade or century it was, or decade. I think we did the decade or something. But anyway, this is my one, and they have a sequel. They actually have a sequel to this one. It was supposed to debut at Cannes, the Cannes Film Festival, and it's not because they pushed the Cannes Film Festival back. Train to Busan. To me, that it's an unbelievable zombie pick, where a guy basically is just trying to survive on a train with zombies at different stations. It's just a great survival type film. It has a great twist ending. I'm not going to tell you because it's so good.
Don't tell me because this is one that I will promise I'll see by the end of this.
You need to get
coronation.
You need to because it is. I
on
believe
Netflix, right? I think.
Either on Netflix or it's on Prime. You can watch it. It's well worth the watch. I don't think they have English dubbed deal, so you're gonna have to read.
Don't say it like I'm not willing to. I will read, you bastard.
I know, but I'm just saying it's not your favorite thing to do. So I'm taking that.
Yell at you, but it's true.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, to me, Train to Busan was my number one, and it's one of those and you can get it on Vudu right now for $6, the HDX version. So if you want to get it, $6.
Hey Jim, can I borrow $6?
No, I've already spent it on that movie. So. Yeah, so watch it. Train to Busan. It's a Korean thriller. You couldn't get any better, or Japanese thriller. No, I think it was made in Korea. Korea. Yeah, cool. I think it was Korea. So, boss, what do you? What you got for your number one?
Mad Max, the original.
Yes, Mel Gibson.
When I was a kid, my brother, we were on vacation somewhere or something, and he told me this movie through just conversations, and then he'd tell me about throwing the boomerang and cutting off his fingers and all that, and everywhere he was so good and vivid at it that every time we'd pack up the car and go another 500 miles around the country or whatever, it's a road trip, that I never even watched the film till probably 5 or 10 years later, and I pretty much knew everything. Yeah. Because he described it so well, and I've always thought it was pretty good.
I still like it. It holds up to this day. That's what I love about even Fury Road, and even the newest Fury Road is good. And I thought Thunderdome was unbelievable. Road Warrior, and then you had Mad Max, and it's just unbelievable how good those were and on the cheap. I think the third one, Thunderdome, was the more expensive one out of the bunch.
Tina Turner.
Yeah, Tina Turner, and where he killed the kid with Down syndrome because he didn't know it was a kid with Down syndrome, or he wouldn't have killed him. Remember, you killed my boy, But yeah, it was a great movie all around. So
there's
I
a lot
agree
of those
with
movies that you guys are talking about that I see and stuff on the list. I just haven't seen them.
Yeah, Train to Busan. That's one I really say you should watch. It's Train to Busan. And it's a Korean made film. I think they call another one is the sequel's called In Paradise. So that's coming out soon. So I can't wait. It's a sequel to this. I'm giddy. I think I texted you one night about it, saying they're making a sequel. So I was very excited. So Jordan, let's tell me what your number one is gonna be.
My number one is Mad Max. Fury Road.
You went the Charlize.
I loved Fury Road.
Yeah.
This
It was great.
It was great.
surprised me too because I went in with okay, this should be fun expectations. Walked out being like, that was a spectacle from beginning to end. The trek they have, Charlize Theron, Furiosa. I own that Funko Pop. She's a badass. There's still talks of some sort of sequel or spinoff with her, or a prequel about her character with a different actress.
Can't we just have a Mad Max one too?
Give me something. Give me more Mad Max. Give me more Furiosa. Give me more
Tom Hardy. I want more Tom Hardy.
Yeah, no, I want both. They could be in their own separate films. You're doing with shitty Fast and Furious. Do it with this.
Yeah.
So, I love this thing, man. Gorgeous looking. Nicholas Hoult too. The villain's cool looking, very imaginative with the different vehicles and the villains, and it's a breathless film almost from the beginning. And I dug this thing, man. Like again, you think about the apocalypse,
going to Valhalla, baby.
You think about this, and so many films have mocked it since. Yeah. I mean, I guess more about the original too, I guess you could really say. But so many films have mocked that imagery of the cars and the masks and all that. So I love this film.
You know what? If you weren't saying then I was short one. We'll throw Mad Max Fury Road amongst that one, along with the Mel Gibson one. That's 3 if you really wanted to go crazy. So we'll just throw one extra. That'll be my other one. Now I have a 10. I have a now perfect 10. So there you go. There's our apocalyptics, post-apocalyptic films. You get them, watch them. They're all available to see out there on demand or on your Hulu, your CBS Access, possibly, your Netflix.
CBS Access doesn't have much. They have like 4 movies. They have like
Netflix and
movies.
or your Primes.
Netflix, Vudu, Hulu, All Access. Apple.
Well, I'm talking about ones that you can see for free.
Quibi. No.
Contagion would be up there too. Also, recently for that, I'd put that up there by a little bit after Oblivion and Edge of Tomorrow. But it's up there.
Oh my!
But if you
Eyes Wide Shut is my apocalyptic film. That's mine. Eyes Wide Shut.
Or you can just walk outside of your front door if you want to. More.
Hey, are you ready for your favorite segment?
My favorite segment. Is it time?
Heck yeah!
Time, baby.
Rock on.
It is my news and notable stuff.
Here, can you switch this for a couple seconds?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, I can switch. I just don't know where I'm at. Who are we on right
We're
now?
on you right now.
Oh, hold on. We have an issue. We have a. Okay, we're good. Okay, so I'm on you?
Now you're on me.
Okay, just tell me when we're doing
News and notables.
Okay. Woohoo!
Michael Biehn, you may remember him from the hero of the first Terminator, has been casted from Mandalorian Season 2, which will also feature Bill Burr returning.
Oh, Bill Burr. We all love Bill Burr. He was actually pretty good in that episode.
I could go on and on about all the movies and TV shows that have been halted or delayed. We mentioned some last show.
We're going to mention some of this one, I hope.
The only one I'm mentioning is the one that's near and dear to my heart. Walking Dead Season 10 will not have a finish. It seems like they're really building up towards a good finish here. This is a decent season, probably my favorite season in a few seasons, but unfortunately. Me and you, we talked about CBS All Access before. Patrick Stewart went on Instagram letting fans know, hey, I know you're having a tough time in quarantine now.
The Picard thing.
We'll give you about a free month now. So if you go to sign up for CBS All Access, you get it now for a month instead of the usual week or two for the free trial. So
am I on camera now? I'm trying to figure this out.
Yes, you are.
Okay, so
I know we're both going to be watching Picard.
But no, not just only Picard, but the delays. We're going to talk some delays really quick. Sony has come out with a list of their delays. They're going to be delaying Morbius, which was set to hit theater July 31st, is now set for March 19th, 2021. Ghostbusters Afterlife is moving off July 10th and going to March 5th, 2021. And Uncharted, which was scheduled to come out this year again, or actually on the March 5th date, has now been postponed to October 8th, 2021, with Tom Holland playing the lead. Also, I think today Universal came out and did the Minion, the Despicable Me one, prequel, and a few others that are also being delayed as well. Also, I want to throw in a little TV news for you. See, I have some notes for once. This is why I'm excited. Ryan Reynolds is trying to talk to Netflix about doing a film adaptation of my personal favorite video game back in the 80s, Dragon's Lair. So that'll be fun if he can play the knight who has wobbly
I didn't
knees.
even have that included because I didn't care much about that. So that's your favorite game of yours, all right?
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Also, I'll get all my notes out of the way for you. How's this?
Are you good?
V-Wars, Messiah, and October Faction. If you loved them, well, guess what? Netflix has got rid of them. And they've already announced that they are going to do greenlit season 2 of Lock and Key, which is a good show. I told you it kind of petered out, but it kept me around because it did look pretty decent. Also, I want to show out Chris Maloney, the former Law and Order SVU star. I always want to call it SUV, and me and my mom had an argument about that the other night.
The article I clicked on legitimately had him misspelled in the header and then spelled correctly in the contact.
He's set to reprise his role of Elliot Stabler in another Dick Wolf show. So Dick Wolf God bless America. I guess you're gonna just own NBC. I think they should just give him the network and let him have every show that's out there. And one more on a sad note, David Scaram who played Roy Biggins, the Erloy and Wings, has passed. At the age of 73. If you ever watch Wings, the show Wings, that brought in Thomas Hayden Church. It brought in Monk, Tony Shalhoub, Tim Daly, and a few others. But they brought these guys to our forefronts, and he died at 73. Family didn't really disclose what it was, but I think it was not this virus related. So I apologize. Those are my little notes. What do you got for me over there?
Some things that have been out in the news for maybe a week or two, but we haven't had a show. Lovebirds now going to Netflix. Me and you were excited about that. Kumail Nanjiani, Issa Rae. They haven't set a date yet, but it's happening. Yeah,
hopefully soon.
No, it'll be fun. No, we got time now.
It's supposed to be April 10th. It was supposed to be soon.
Do it, yeah. Onward is already available now on Disney Plus. If you have Disney Plus, you don't even have to pay the $20 to see it. You can go check out Onward right now.
Oh, really?
Which stuff like that always confuses me. Like, who's spending $20 to rent when you could just do a month trial and then cancel?
That's true. That is
Same
true.
thing like WWE when they're doing WrestleMania and you can still buy the pay-per-view for $60 or a free trial of the network or $7 for the network
or just don't even watch it
or that. The Final Destination 6 script is finished, so they're waiting on some more news from that.
Final Destination 6.
Yes, sir.
I know I should be on camera, but I can't even be seen with my face the way
I
it is.
want to show you disgust.
Yeah, it's just disgusting. Okay, next. What's the next?
I talked about Ghostbusters Morbius. I'm excited for Christopher Maloney, by the way. I had that on here too. Returning as Stabler. He was in it for the first 12 years of SVU. They're now on season 21, so he's been gone for about a decade now. So it's cool to see that character returning. I hope he gets at least just to hype it. Maybe he'll get on SVU for once, just to kind of reconnect with.
He'll have his own show. Hopefully he'll.
I know. That's what I'm just saying. Reintroduce him on SVU real quick to hype up whatever this is.
What I think would be great for him is, his kids are now going to be grown up mostly. So, I think what would be great is to possibly, and call me if I'm crazy, I'd like to see him as a detective, maybe retired from the force and doing detective work, because he looked like he would be a good grunt, like Mickey Spillane type, Mike Hammer type guy.
It felt like, I don't know, the news I've read, maybe it might be something like that where he's leading another kind of thing. So it might be, maybe he's now doing it on the low, because remember before his character would sometimes cross the line.
Yeah, and it would be cool to see him go over the edge. So,
and some good news. I always like to end with The Rock. The Rock has confirmed that Hobbs and Shaw 2 will take place. It's been greenlit, so that's good to know, because they did have the lowest box office, at least debut, of the entire Fast
but it
and
was
Furious
probably the
franchise.
better of the bunch.
Review-wise, reviews more box office means more than reviews usually.
I know. But we gave it some good reviews.
That.
We gave it some good reviews. So, well, that was good though. So we got that. We're all good now. My news and notable stuff. As for the show, we're going to be just retooling a little bit, trying to figure out what we could do next to keep us alive in this diamond age. And we might do a Zoom, we might do a Skype, and we might do telephone. Who knows? It'll be interesting. So keep coming back. Be informed. Again, we're going to be shuttering safe down here in Florida. You do the same. Follow your local guides, and hopefully we'll all get through this as a country, and we'll all be happy at the end, and we'll all be enjoying real movies once it happens.
Yeah, stay safe, stay calm. Everybody, stay sane as well. Watch a movie, watch a TV show. Love your loved ones. Zoom, Skype, do whatever you got to do. Much love from the crew here of A Show About Shows.
Good night.
Peace.